fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Gozyu Wolf Wild Power-Up set from #1 Sentai Gozyuger. And apologies that this video is so late, but I just could not find this anywhere. HLJ, I think the pre-orders went up some crazy hour, like 5 a.m. sold out immediately, never went back in stock. Toe Collectibles was sold out of it. Amazon Japan, I don't think, ever had it available to ship to America, so the pre-orders never happened for that. So I just could not find this thing anywhere. But I finally found it at Ami of all places, and I was very excited, so I grabbed it right away. But this set is comprised of three things. You have the Orca Booster 50/50, or Orca Booster Go-Go, depending on your preference. We have the Wild Gozyu Wolf Sentai Ring, and then we have the Sentai Ring Gozyuger Power-Up version, which is very much in the vein of that set that I took a look at a couple days ago, where they're doing all the power-up versions of all the different Sentai teams, so like the red members power-up form, and this is exclusive to this set. So they do sell the Orca Booster separately, and they sell the Wild Gozyu Wolf Ring separately, but I wanted to get this ring so I could, you know, continue to have all of the powered-up versions, and it's exclusive to this set, so I had to wait, but here we are. I finally found it. I'm very excited. So, front of the box here, I think looks really, really cool. You have Wild Gozyu Wolf here, which I think this form looks amazing. I have not seen it in the show yet. I'm a couple episodes behind, but I'm catching up. But I think this looks really, really cool. And then you can see looming in the background here, we have when the Orca Booster 50/50 combines with the Tegasword, we get the Tegasword, and I'm going to say this wrong, so let me look on the side here. Oh, it's on the other side. The Tegasword Akatsuki. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. But it looks really cool. I think this form looks amazing, and I'm excited to check it out. So, very, very cool there. But, yep, that's everything that's comprised of the set. Over here on the side, you have a close-up picture of Wild Gozyu Wolf with the Wild Gozyu Wolf Sentai ring there. And then over here, we have the Tegasword Akatsuki. I'm not quite sure, but looks pretty cool there. Up on the top here, just kind of showing you more of what's included, putting the Wild Gozyu Wolf ring into the Tegasword. It shows you the power-up version and the two sides when you flip that around. And then over here on the back, showing you some of the things we can do. Obviously, it works as like a weapon. The Orca Booster 50/50 kind of a gun. You can plug the other Sentai rings into it. You have the combination with the Tegasword, of course. So, very cool. I think this is really neat. I'm excited to check this out. I'm going to go ahead, get everything out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. Alright, so here is everything you get in the box. The Orca Booster 50/50 comes in these two pieces. We'll come back to that in a moment. We'll take a look at the rings here. So first up, we have the Wild Gozyu Wolf ring, which I gotta be honest, it's a little underwhelming. It has this giant chunk of translucent red plastic here. I do like that the ring band is also translucent plastic, and they do include a larger one, so if you want to wear it around. But it's just, I don't know, it's just not that exciting. Aesthetically, I think it looks good. You have the nice piece here, painted gold. This can lift up, so you can see the helmet underneath, which also looks good. You have these little wings on the side, and you can pop them in, and they'll click into place. And then there's just a little button here, and it just makes it light up. There's no sounds. I thought there'd be some kind of sounds or something, but it's just a light. It's really all it does. Also, the button will make the wings pop out, so if you tuck them in, it makes them pop out and turn the light on. I don't know why this piece moves. I guess just to see the helmet better. It's not really that exciting, if I'm being honest. Yeah, just a little underwhelming. Like, it's fine. It looks neat, but I really thought it was going to have some sounds of its own, and it doesn't. It's just the light. So, it's fine, I guess. Next up, we have the Tegasword Akatsuki Sentai ring, which of course is just going to be the head for the robot, but looks really cool. I love this crest up here. I thought like the eyes or something would be a little bit more defined. It's kind of like a lighter translucent orange, but it's on top of the red, so it just kind of all blends in. I can't really tell what's going on here, if I'm being honest. A little bit of paint down here and up here. But yeah, again, this also comes with a larger band if you like. Still pretty cool. And then we have the Gozyuger power-up version ring. So just like all the other ones, you have the crest here, you have the year, it says number 50. You have Wild Gozyu Wolf, and then you can turn them back into just Gozyu Wolf, or more fun to power up and, you know, flip around, and now there you go. So definitely wanted to get this because it's in keeping with the other ones I've been collecting, and as always, we have a larger band, so all three of the rings come with a larger band, which is nice. But I'm going to put these off to the side for now so we can focus here on the Orca Booster 50/50. So putting it together is actually pretty simple. You're going to just take this translucent ring piece and click it up 90 degrees. And then you're going to take this, and these little pieces here, they have to sit into these slots here and here. And then you're going to peg these pieces into here and here. So you have to kind of like thread this through, make sure those go into the thing, and then connect it. And it's probably going to make a lot of weird noise at you while you do so. But there we go. It is fully assembled now. We have the Orca Booster 50/50, or again, Go if you prefer. Looks pretty cool. Nice maroon color. You have a lot of this gunmetal gray throughout, which looks nice. Have this blaster here on the front. You can kind of see the little eyes there painted orange. I'll be honest, kind of looks more like a dolphin to me, if I'm being honest, but that's where we're at. The last thing you can do, and I forgot to show this off, you can see that there's like a little connector right here. You can feed this ring underneath. And then there's a spot here on the top, this little area here that will sit in there. This will click into, so just pop that in. And it'll feel like you're supposed to push it more, but you're not. As soon as you hear any kind of click, it's good to go. And you can store that under there, which is neat. Here's the speaker down here on the bottom. Here's the trigger. Kind of decently well hidden, if I'm being honest. I thought maybe that would be a different color or something, but it's fine. Here's the battery compartment. This is where you pull the little tab out. And then you have the battery compartment. So if you had to change the batteries, you'd unscrew that. This little panel comes off. Now, when you first pull the tab out, it does say its name. And there's a little reset button here. So I'm going to go ahead. So there you go. It's the only time it says its name is when you first pull the tab out. So if you want to hear that, you have to hit the reset button. But otherwise, you have the trigger. Pretty standard, like, firing sound. If you hold it down, just says Orca Booster. You also have this little piece here that you can actually pull out. So that's like the super finishing attack, I guess, but I love the whale sounds there. I think that's really fun. The other thing they show you to do, and let me bring them all in here, you can take the 5 rings and you can pop these in around the ring here. They just kind of snap in. Now, there's no reader or anything that even detects if they're pegged in or not. It's just something cool to do. And honestly, you could put any rings in there you wanted. And then they tell you to do this again. So as you hear, there's no difference in that sound if you have anything pegged in there or not. It just looks cool. It's just neat that you can put the 5 rings in there. Like I said, there's nothing that can detect that anything is attached in here. There's no reader or anything like that. It's just something cool to do. But that's pretty much all you can do with this thing on its own. So before we get into the combination or anything like that, let's check out some of those other rings. Alright, first up we got Wild Gozyu Wolf. We'll go ahead and tuck these in, and then we'll just pop it in here. That's pretty much it. Wild power up. You can see the light goes off when you peg it in. It causes the little wings on the side to flip out. Just your standard sword sounds. Standard finishing sound. It tells you to open this up. And I don't think that's doing anything, but So the directions tell you to lift this up before you do the finish finger, but then in the directions it still just says finish finger, so I'm like, why does it matter? So yeah, again, just a little underwhelming. Like, the power-up transformation sound is nice, but that's why I feel like they should have put some sounds in this just to make it a little bit more exciting. You know, I understand if this kind of says the basics, but then maybe a little bit more fanfare music or something came from the ring itself. I just feel like for as big and massive as this thing is, it's really just for like a light that's not even that bright, if I'm being honest. And I don't know, the power up, it's a little underwhelming. So there you go, wild power up. And then this, of course, we already know what this is going to do. So, standard Gozyuger sounds. And then we'll see what this does. Nothing. Because I don't think there's any pins on the back of it. Oh no, it shows there's one down here. But yeah, I think that's the one that they use for like Tegasword and those ones where they expect the sound to come from somewhere else. Because it just really, it doesn't do anything. So just thought I'd show that off. Speaking of the Tegasword, why not? So interesting. I think it said, oops, we'll try it again, but I think it said Bright Moon. So there you go. There's that. I don't know what this one will do. So I was right, it is the same as the Tegasword ring. So it won't do anything in the Tegasword, but acts like the Tegasword ring in this. And then... So yeah, pretty standard stuff there, but... Interesting that this says Bright Moon. That's actually kind of cool. And then this one just acts like the Tegasword ring. Alright, but now let's get to the exciting part and what I think is easily the best part of this set. We're going to go ahead and disconnect this again. Now, as soon as I do this, the standby music is going to play. I'm just going to hit the trigger just to get it out of the way because otherwise it goes on forever. So just get ready for that. But we're going to disconnect from here, which can be a little easier said than done. Actually, first thing I'm going to do is take the ring out and put that to the side. And then we're going to disconnect this. There we go. So that's the little transformation jingle for Tegasword Akatsuki, but we'll hear that again later. So we're going to take this and we're going to bend this back down like when we got it out of the box. Then we're going to take this, and this will actually pop apart. You can kind of see the seam right here. So this is going to pop off like so. This translucent yellow piece is going to fold down like that. Then you're actually going to take these two maroon sections, and they are going to detach, just like that. And you can see that this will become the sword. This little part right here is going to flip around to form the hilt and the handle of the sword. So there we go. Then we're going to take this piece, and you can see that there's a little clip right here and a clip right here, and these are going to attach on like that. You literally can't attach them incorrectly because they can only attach one way, which is nice, and of course you just want the gold parts to face forward. So that is pretty much the whole kind of front section there. And then we have this section, and then we have the sword, and we have the helmet. So let's go ahead and bring in the Tegasword. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is take this piece and plug it into the front where pretty much everything else plugs in for this guy. So pop that on there. Already, I think this is looking really, really neat. I really like the look of this, and it really kind of fits on kind of perfectly. Then we're going to come around to the back here, and we would normally like pop on the arms and things that we're not using for other various combos. We're going to use this right here, and that's going to connect onto there. And the other thing I think that's really neat is like this is perfectly kind of hollowed out for the part of the finger here, as well as like having this kind of come in close to the body so it's not too back heavy. And you'll see what I mean in a moment. Let me just go ahead and connect this on here like that, and then you can really see like how that kind of tapers in. I just think that's really well done. Distributes the weight pretty nicely and looks pretty cool. Then we're going to give him his sword. And I love the way that this thing looks like a Shinken-maru. I think that's so great. Pop that on there, and then pop in the head. Now you can hear how the sound just kind of dies out, because normally it would be doing the whole like awakening and then whichever version of the Tegasword depending on the ring you've inserted. But because it's that same kind of pin system as the Tegasword, it just kind of kills the sound dead. It expects it to be coming from somewhere else. Now we heard when I first started taking the Orca Booster apart that it was going nuts with the sounds, and I just didn't want that going off the whole time. There's a little button in here, and when you put it back together, it depresses it, and then when it becomes undepressed, it starts that music. So I should be able to just jam something in here and hit this button real quick. There we go. And then we just hit the trigger. So there you go. Got the little transformation jingle there. I like that a lot. I like this form a lot as well. You know, the whole samurai motif is really working. Like I said, this thing looking exactly like a Shinken-maru is fantastic. Nice attention to detail. Just all of this, I think, looks really, really cool. Now, you can still hit the button back here. You'll get some generic slash sounds. You can still hold it down. But you won't get anything because that ring is kind of blowing that dead. But you can also use these sounds. Hold it down. So that's where you actually get the finisher for this form. Not from this, but actually from this. Technically, you still could also pull this back and click it into place. But then when you hit the button, it's just the same sound. So that doesn't do anything or trigger anything new or exciting. So pretty cool form. I like it a lot. If you wanted, you technically could come up here and still pop in like all of these ring heads. Now that sounds like it's doing something, but it's just because I'm jostling the Tegasword. So you could still just leave them up there. I actually think that's kind of cool. I might just display it like this just because the colors are cool. I actually might switch these around. Let's do it like that. But yeah, just kind of a cool display. Again, doesn't do anything, doesn't change any sounds or anything, just looks neat. And I'm knocking them over. But yeah, I think this is a really cool form. Honestly, this might be my favorite form so far. The combination with Good Day Burn was pretty cool as well, but I think this is just a lot more streamlined, looks cleaner, the colors are good, and just overall, I really like it a lot. I guess I should talk about articulation. It's a Sentai mech, so I often don't, but you can move the arms a little bit. The shoulder pads don't get in the way too bad, but that's about as much as you're going to get. Technically, if you want him to use this as well, you're not supposed to, but you can. It's there, and I guess technically this moves as well, just because it already did. But yeah, not really known for articulation, but I do think it looks really cool. So you absolutely can use it with the Tegasword as well, and I really think with the white, it kind of looks even cooler. Like, I think that looks really sharp. I kind of like that a lot. Now, because you're using this helmet, it is going to think that it's the Tegasword, so like if you would pop this out and pop it back in, so it thinks you transformed into Tegasword, and then the finisher would be for her as well. But you could still use this as well. And if you came back around and hit this again, so basically, you can still get all the same sounds if you want, but you'll also have some Tegasword sounds. Also, because the wings are so big for her, you have to kind of move them out of the way to make sure the tail fits underneath them, but it all will totally still work. So I think it's a pretty cool set, but if I'm being honest, the Orca Booster 50/50 is definitely the star of the show. The Wild Gozyu Wolf Sentai ring is just not that exciting. It doesn't do that much. It looks good aesthetically, and I do like the light. I appreciate that. I don't know why they didn't put any kind of sounds into this, and it's kind of just like the rest of the Sentai rings. If you're having fun collecting them, aesthetically, I think it's cool. It does one basic little power-up sound in the Tegasword, and then after that, not really much to it. Same thing for this, you know, if you can't find this set and you're kind of giving up and this isn't really that important to you, it's the only thing that's exclusive to the set. So, you know, it's depending on how crazy you want to be with collecting them. If you can live without it, I would say, honestly, just buy yourself an Orca Booster 50/50 and you can probably skip the rest of this. It's really just up to you how much you want to collect. If you're like me and you're trying to collect all the different variations, if you're crazy, then I get it. You're going to want this set because it does have an exclusive ring. But if you can let it go, which is probably healthier, I would advise that. And I would just get yourself an Orca Booster. And, you know, it has the best sounds. It connects with the Tegasword. It looks awesome. I love this form. And I don't think you'll have trouble just finding this around somewhere if you change your mind later. But if you have to have, you know, this little exclusive, you're going to want the set, which unfortunately can be a little hard to find. But if you're having trouble and you just want an Orca Booster, you could probably live without the other two rings. If I'm being honest, I think the Orca Booster is easily the best part of the set. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.